Okay, Ken.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Looking beyond March 1st, which is the date we've been all pointing towards for a while, but there is life after March 1st, and this is what's on our plates, has been on our plates, and we will keep going with them all after March 1st. The first item is the Compendium of Analytical Methods updates. You guys have probably seen various emails about some of those. I have a slide on that in a moment, but those will be continuing. The next two, the VPH, EPH, and off-gas treatment guidance documents are both very old, at least 20 years old each. John Fitzgerald has taken the initiative and rewritten both of them, and they're in internal review right now. So those will be available for public availability, hopefully in the next, I would say, in the next month or two. Public involvement, the guidance and the fact sheets are being updated with the help of a contractor that we're in the process of hiring. COM24, notice it's now called COM24, not COM23, but that is a place marker for a future guidance policy on reuse of soil at other 21E sites. As you know, we spend a lot of time discussing this internally and externally, and there's a lot of issues that need to be memorialized in a guidance document, and that's what that will be. The UST Closure Assessment Manual is another one that's been out there for years and years, and it hasn't been updated, and that update is almost completed now. So that should be ready shortly after March 1st. And then, as always, the master Q&A. We do have a Q&A just for the amendments and the implementation of the amendments, but it all feeds into the master Q&A, which has not been comprehensively updated in a few years. So that's also on our plates. And then the interim PFAS sampling and analysis guide, which was first published in 2018. We've updated it 4 times since then, as recently as November. I imagine the plan will be that when EPA publishes the federal PFAS MCL, which we expect soon, that it will be updated again. And that's all I had for that. Now I think we can turn it over to David. Oh, CAM updates. Sorry about that. This is the detail of the CAM updates. If you've heard of some of these already. They've been coming out piecemeal. They're more than halfway done. The ones that indicate done have been updated. The most recent ones, the chlorinated pesticides and herbicides, are done and they've been posted, but they don't become effective until April 12th. We usually put a few month lag time between when they're updated and posted to when they become effective. The next one to come will be TO15, and then also added to the list is a future protocol to be developed for PFAS based on method 1633. So that's it for the CAM updates. And I think we can move ahead to brownfields with David.
Ken, I think before we move on, since we've covered a lot of material, just pause here, see if we have questions about any of it.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat about 40.0028 about PRPs reporting the latitude, longitude of monitoring and remedial wells to DEP.
Yeah.
Can you see it in the chat, Liz?
Yeah. So there is a requirement to report the longitude and latitude of wells, as covered in the training by Paul. This is something that we don't have the pieces together yet in terms of its implementation. It's actually one of those many provisions we have in the MCP that we start with on a form provided by the department. So the plan is, until we can clarify that and provide the form, that the implementation of that is on hold. As Paul mentioned, the well driller program also has requirements to provide this information. It's our hope to in coordination with them, that we can not duplicate information that they already are gathering. We can make that a process where the department is not getting information in 2 different places. So it's going to take longer to figure out the implementation of that piece. And as I said, once we tell you that we now have the form provided by the department for this purpose, will be really the official date in which you need to be concerned about meeting that requirement. I think in the meantime, you go ahead, and if you're gathering that information anyway and you want to include it in your reports, please do. But I think the official word on that is we'll have more later on how that will actually play out. And is there a second question?
Yes, second question was, you've already sort of answered it, but will there be bound copies of the new MCP at the State House bookstore?
Yeah, as I said, I'm going to ask them that question today, and if I get an answer today, I'll try to put that information out to everyone. But as soon as we learn whether they plan on doing it as a full new published MCP or as replacement pages, I'll let you know that. If they ask my opinion, I will certainly say that we would desire that it be published in full.
Okay. And that's it for the questions. Do you want to move ahead then to David and Brownfields?
Sure.
Okay.